Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about headlamps, 3 in particular, ones that have shown up in a handful of my videos over the past couple months, years maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway, some of you guys have asked questions about them, and in this video we're just going to take a closer look at kind of like my 3 most used headlamps right now. Alright, so this is probably my most used headlamp. It's the Armytek Wizard V3, and let's just take a closer look at it. Alright, so the Armytek is going to be the most expensive, but also the most durable and the most powerful of all the headlamps. It's kind of my go-to because I really like, you can see the lens, it has a really good flood, so it doesn't have a ton of throw, so it doesn't illuminate super far away, but in its brightest mode it still illuminates pretty far and kind of just has a nice, illuminates all the area in front of you, which is what I usually am looking for out of a headlamp. So this thing is powered by a single rechargeable 18650 battery, these big chunkers, which I love. I love using them. Let's see if we can get some focus here. And it can also use 2 CR123 regular lithium batteries as well, if you don't want to use the rechargeables. It does come in a couple different configurations. Mine's kind of an older one, I think, and I think the newer ones have like magnetic and rechargeable tail caps, which are nice, and they also come with a pocket clip, so you can use it as a standard flashlight and clip it onto your pocket or whatever. But I always use it in headlamp mode, obviously, with the band on here. So operation is pretty standard, well, pretty standard for these kind of high-tech flashlights. You can long press to get into moonlight or firefly mode, which is really light, like 0.2 lumens. And when you're in this mode, you can hold it and it'll cycle through the different really dim modes, so it's not very bright even on its brightest of the moonlight or firefly settings. So you can click it, it has a memory, so you click it once and it just goes back to whatever mode you had it on. You can double click to get into the standard modes at any time, no matter what. And same thing, long press, and it'll cycle through kind of the standard modes. And then you can triple click to get into the turbo mode. And that's really bright, and this will, holding it down, will cycle through those modes as well. And then at any given time you can click 4 times and get into strobe. So it also has a little light on here you can see that kind of shows the status of the battery at any given time, and it's really kind of just a great all-around flashlight, really low profile to your head, and the light is technically off center, but since it has so much flood, it doesn't really affect me. So like I said, this is kind of my go-to headlamp, super powerful, pretty expensive, pretty bomb-proof, but if you have the money to spend and are looking just for a really, really solid flashlight, I can definitely recommend this one. Now another one I use quite a bit is the Thrunite TH10, and we'll take a little closer look at that. Alright, so the Thrunite TH10 is another one of my go-to headlamps. I'll use this a lot of times when I'm out for a walk with my dogs or something at night, and I want a headlamp that has a little more throw. So this has a really incredible throw for a headlamp. Not as much spill, but if I really want to illuminate something far out in the woods, if I'm looking for a bear, some deer or something, this is kind of the headlamp I like to go to. It sticks out a little bit more from the head because of its design, but it's a little not as wide as the Armytek here. This and the Armytek are both impact and water resistant, maybe waterproof even. I mean, they're both really solid headlamps. This is also powered by a rechargeable 18650, or you could use a couple CR123s instead. So I like that. Like I just mentioned about the other light, I like 18650 batteries and lights that use them. So this, you can turn it up and down, obviously, and the modes are not the same as the Armytek, but has a similar thing where you can long press it to get into moonlight, and then from here you can hold it and get into your different modes here. So at any given time when it's off, you can double click it to get into turbo mode, which is 750 lumens, really, really powerful light as well. And once it's on, it has you can double click it and get into, I think double click it and get into SOS mode. So it goes into SOS mode if you ever need to use that. Once it's on, you just double click it. It also has a memory, So if I go to, say, medium, when I turn it off and then I turn it on again, it'll come back into medium mode. Same with the Armytek. So pretty good little headlamp. If you're looking for something with a little more throw, a little more ability to illuminate things further away, this is the one you're going to want to go with. I think it's about 40 bucks, and I'll link to it below. So this is another great light by Thrunite, and yeah. All right, and the last one we're going to look at is the Princeton Tec Sync. Now, I like this one. I use it the least, but I like it a lot. This is the one I keep in my get-home bag and my EDC bag, so I have a few of these laying around, and I just like them because they're stupid simple to use, and they're lightweight, and they're not as powerful as these other guys, but I keep them in my bags and stuff because they do the job, and they're lightweight, and yeah, let's take a closer look at it. All right, so this is the Princeton Tec Sync. It's going to be your cheapest option, your least durable option, but also your lightest option, which is why it's in a lot of my bags. It also, in some ways, has less features than the other ones. Like you can't like long press it and get all strobes and SOS and all that stuff. But in some ways, it has more features because it has the red LED. It has a spot, kind of, which has a little more throw. Nothing like the Thrunite. And then it has a flood, but again, nothing like the Armytek. So it has both the options. It doesn't do either of them as good as kind of the dedicated headlamps do, but it performs all right. So you can see that this lens kind of is the flood. This is the spot that will have a little more throw. This is powered by 3 AAAs. So you pop this open, and instead of unscrewing, you pop it, and this is a little plastic clip, and I think it's prone to breakage. I've never broken one, but if you pry it a little too hard, or if it's really cold out, you might snap it. So be careful when opening that up. And then operation is just by twisting the dial. So I kind of like it in a pack because it doesn't have any buttons to hit or get jostled and turn on in your pack. So you just turn it, and you'll go through the different modes here that are listed on the top. So you first go into red, then you'll go into off, and then you'll go into flood, and then a brighter flood, and then spot, and then both. So you have kind of a dim flood mode, a brighter flood mode, a spot, and then both of them. So it's kind of nice. It's not nearly as bright as the other guys. I think this is 150 lumens it maxes out at, but the ability to use the red light is nice, you know, in a get-home bag or something like that. And it's just kind of easy to use, simple, and relatively affordable. So this is kind of my go-to headlamp to throw in a bag. Not that I'm going to use all the time, but if you want kind of a compact, small, lighter weight one that still has some pretty good features, this is kind of my go-to right now. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking, taking a few seconds out of your day to hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you have any other questions about any of these headlamps, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And also, I link to pretty much everything in my videos in the comments in the video description below. So if you're ever wondering what's in a video, I usually link to it. Clicking those links helps support the channel, so I appreciate that. And yeah, until next time, take care.